Hi, English Nomad here, and welcome to my latest episode. And in today's episode I'm just going to basically bring all of my subscribers and viewers up to date with the progress on the camper build. You can see the camper behind me, so I just wanted to go over a few of the features that I've been working on since the last video, and give you a progress update, and then give you some news about what's coming up in the next couple of videos. So first of all, I'll turn the camera around and we'll take a look around the camper. Just see the car there. It's looking good. So there's the camper. You can see it's got the roof up. I've done a little bit of work on the exterior as well. As you can see, it's looking in a fairly advanced state of completion now, and it's got most of the exterior parts fitted. A couple of things I need to do are hold down clamps when I fit it to the truck, but I'll do that once it's on the truck. I'm using, I'll show you later, the clamps that I'm going to use to hold it onto the truck. Now I'll step inside the camper and I'll show you the interior. I'm just going to flick the lights on just to give it a little bit more illumination in here. So as you can see, that's the bed, the elevated bed, which I'll be sleeping on. It's just over 1.7 meters long. That's the actual bed frame, but as you can see, there's a little bit of room either end as well. I'm only 5'9", which is, I think it's 173 centimeters. Yeah, 173 centimeters. And as I generally lie on my side, I don't see any specific issue with the fact that the bed is just long enough for me. I probably sleep slightly diagonal and knees tucked a little bit. So I've got two custom mattresses to go on there. Each one is 2 foot wide or 600 mil. And the bed itself is designed to actually fold up during the day, so it's not in the way. So I'll just demonstrate that. So just under here you can see, if I can just zoom up here a little bit, there are hinges on the underside, and all I need to do is push up and as you can see, the bed is now stored up against the end of the cabin, making the seating area below a more spacious area without hitting your head on the bed, which is above. I've ordered cushions for the seating area. There will be a table in the middle. I haven't made that yet. The cupboards open up, and you can see, excuse that couple of cables there, I need to tidy that up, I haven't got around to it yet. But there's a huge cavernous storage area there. Another cavernous storage area there. This is camping food that I've already purchased for my first couple of trips. The back two seats fold up as well, but they're designed to just come off, so that if I have to do any work on the water tanks, you can see the water tanks underneath there. If I need to do any work on the water tanks, all the panels around that frame can be removed, so that I can, if I have to, I can still remove the tanks if I need to have a bit of damage to one of the tanks. And as you can see, there's the electrical system. Everything's now wired in and connected and working. So I'm very happy with that. Everything's working perfectly. Now looking around the other side, you can see the fridge is in. The fridge is working. It's all wired in. I've not got very much in there at the moment. I think I might have a few beers. Yeah, there's a beer there. I think there's a 6-pack down below that basket. And the freezer's working. I think just to try it out, I put some ice cubes in there. So the freezer's all working perfectly. Just moving round, you can see against that back wall I've got some electrical sockets, mostly cigarette lighter type sockets. There's a couple of USBs and my voltage meter so that I can monitor my voltage, so I can see what my power usage is. The batteries are currently under a state of charge at the moment, that's why it's reading 13.7. And just taking a step backwards so that you can see the kitchen. So the kitchen's come on in leaps and bounds. I fitted the 4 main cupboard doors. I'll just so as you can see, that's under the sink. You can see the plumbing there for the sink. The sink has been plumbed in. The water pump and all the water pump systems operational. I've leak tested it and everything's working perfectly. So I'll just show you the sink. So you'll hear the pump fire up. And the water drains to an outside drain, and I'll collect the water, wastewater, grey water it is, so I'll collect the grey water in a drum, in a water drum, and then empty it in the appropriate grey water drop-off point wherever I am. So that's the progress to date. Couple of other little things, features. The lights, as you can see, the lights are in. I've fitted the dimmer switch, although it's only a temporary installation for now, so you can see I'm dimming the lights down, up and down. I'll turn the lights off there, turn them back on, and that's just here. You can just see the dimmer switch down there. It's just dangling there on the cable. I'm going to put a plastic enclosure for the dimmer switch and the power on off switch, and run a piece of conduit for the cable. What else? Yeah, so it's getting to a stage now where it's almost ready for use. I've another feature I've got here which I just want to show you. Just down here is how I monitor my water usage. I have a little gauge and it's telling me that to full tanks. I'm going to drain the tanks out because it's always a good idea to fill the tanks up and let the water sit in there for a while and then drain it out and let the whole system flush out, so it gets rid of anything that's in the tank that you don't want in your drinking water. Also, it purges the tanks of any chemicals that might have been in there from the manufacturing of the tanks. So I'm going to do that before I load it onto the back of the LandCruiser. Now, that's probably the next bit of news I've got. Is I'm getting awfully close to the point where I have to take the camper out of the garage and lift it onto the back of the LandCruiser, and that's going to happen hopefully this coming weekend. I'm gonna enroll the help of my neighbour to lift it for the first time using the jacks for the camper, but initially I'll need to get it off the ground high enough to get the jacks in and then lift it. It's probably going to take me 3 lots of lifting to get it to the desired height that I can drive the vehicle under it. So it's going to be a fairly intricate process to get it up to the height that I want it to be when I put it on the LandCruiser. So that's where we're at. One thing I'm probably going to do is just give you a little bit of information about how the build has gone. So the build went really well. It went a lot better than I thought it would up to this point. Now, one thing that I didn't envisage when I started this project was how much labour and how much time it would take me doing the fit outs. I did a Gantt chart, I did a schedule, a project schedule to track how long I thought it would take to do things like building the furniture, fitting out the kitchen, doing the plumbing, the electrical. And I'll be honest, I did underestimate how long it would take, but I've put in a lot of additional hours in the evenings and over the weekends to get the project over the line. So it has gone very well. One thing also I would like to comment on is cost. So initially I had a budget, and my budget allowed for all of the major costs, and I didn't allow for the small costs, which in hindsight was probably a bad idea, and I'll probably get to a stage, I've been tracking all the costs, so I'll be able to work out what my unbudgeted costs were and work out as a percentage of the big costs what proportion of the overall budget I didn't allow for, and that will give me an idea for future reference what sort of percentage of your overall budget needs to be allocated to things like, and it's things like going to the hardware store for screws, nuts and bolts, rivets, glue, varnish. I mean, I've gone through 2 lots of varnish, and varnish isn't cheap if you're buying a good quality varnish. You know, $50 a pop. So all these costs add up. Every time I go to our hardware super store chain here, Bunnings, I generally spend between $100 and $150 per visit, and that's just buying sundry items. So if you're gonna tackle a project like this, it's definitely worth considering how much you're likely to spend on all of those unbudgeted items that you don't really consider at the outset. So I'll have a better idea. Well, I've been keeping an Excel spreadsheet with all of the costs, and I'll be able to filter out all of those small purchases and get an overall idea of what that represents in terms of a percentage. But right now I would say it's somewhere in the region, and this is only a guess, 10% of the overall budget has been spent in small items. So yeah, it's definitely worth taking that on board. And as an overall indication of the cost of building this, up to now I've spent, just on the camper alone, it's tipping in now at around $30,000, which, considering what you can buy brand new from an RV manufacturer or from a specialist company who build campers, it's still significantly cheaper than buying one. There is the camping and caravan show coming up in the next 4 weeks in Perth, so I'm going to go along to that and have a look around, but I dare say I'll not see anything there that is any cheaper than this, or certainly not of the same standard and quality for what I intend to use it for, which is somewhere that I can live and work from on the road. So that's the plan. So I intend to do an awful lot more videos coming up in the near future as I transition from living in my house to living in this. I plan to live in a static caravan park for maybe 6 months while I get used to living in a small space, let my pets adapt to living in this small space, and also iron out any problems that I have before I actually do go full-time on the road. I will do a few small trips during that period so that I can make sure that the camper holds up and there's no structural issues and everything works, and just basically test it out and make sure I'm really happy with the configuration and the layout. So as always, please share this video. Please like this video, and if you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe and click the little bell icon just down here so that you get the notifications when I upload a new video, as I do intend to have a lot of new content in the coming months. And as always, please comment below. So until next time, Mike signing off. Peace out.